This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Listeners, for the second time, I made a mistake, corrected it in the same way. Now, I didn't read any troubleshooting steps. However, what fixed the problem is logical, and I wouldn't be surprised to find my solution is well known. It is also very conceivable that listeners, you're doing Uber and you don't know about this. So what happens the first time is that I switch from walker to bicycle, bicycle to walker, and then even though I'd made the switch, when I switched from walker to bicycle, I was still getting walking routes, which on that occasion meant very few deliveries. And when I switched from bicycle to walker, I was getting bicycle routes, but my app clearly said walker, as it does now. So I fixed that in the same way I'm going to describe the second problem I had. So I got an alert, and because it was so busy today, it's Sunday, it's raining, Midtown Manhattan, that I kept getting offers to pick up deliveries when I wasn't finished with one, and I decline all those. It's my current strategy. I question it. It's my current strategy, but is not one I advise. I advise making a thoughtful choice. I don't have advice on whether or not you should accept deliveries while you're still doing a delivery. Currently, I am not accepting them. So I didn't accept. I got 2 at least, maybe 3. And I said, I either declined or ignored them. Decline and ignoring is the same thing. Decline just silences the phone faster. So when I finished when I went to close out my delivery, it says, "Do you want to stay online?" Well, now I'm in a high-rise going down the elevator, and I know there's problems. So I thought, no, I'll go offline, and then I'll go back online when I get out to my bike. This is all very logical. It doesn't sound like I've made any mistakes yet. So I said, stay offline, because it had put me offline. So I said, stay offline. And then I went out, I touched the go button, as I will do now. You're online. This is going to flip and say searching, finding trips. So I'm now going offline, and now I'm offline. That simple process got stuck. And even though I went online, I wasn't. It said I was, right now it says I'm offline. Even though I went back online, the system kicked me off. I said stay off. I get out to my bike, I say go back on. I've got online, finding trips, everything looks normal. But it wasn't. I was offline even though I had reason to believe I was online. Said finding trips, you are online. So I'm going to show you the penalty I paid for this. And I'm exaggerating that when I describe it as a penalty. Earning details. I'm probably going to have to put on my glasses to do this. But maybe not. Trips. I don't know how many. Look at those tips. I got 3 tips today. It's cold and rainy. So that's more tips than I usually get. There's 2 the day before, 3 today. It's Sunday. People are feeling godly and generous. So here we go. Oh, good. I can read this without my glasses. So here we are. I got a 12.25. I got a 12.44. And then look at that gap right there. So this is when I bang, bang, bang. I ignored or declined a couple of them. It said when I went to close out this delivery, I shouldn't have tapped. When I went out to close this delivery, it said, do you want to stay offline? And I said yes. And I was feeling a little bit lazy, and I read some news. I ended up doing some blogging, some text blogging. So this time really extended, and it didn't have to do that. And then it picked up again. Here's a 240 something and a 3, and now they just kept kicking in until I was done. So again, here's how to fix it. I've demonstrated this once before when I had that Walker Biker account problem, and now when I had I'm going back online, the system doesn't seem to recognize it. Here's how to fix it. This is one way how to fix it. Any tech person would know how to do this, and he or she will not necessarily do it the way I'm going to demonstrate here. So what you want to do is uninstall and reinstall your app. For me, that means I got to go find reasonable Wi-Fi. So here's a shortcut. It's not as thorough, but in both of my examples, it has been effective. So either uninstall and reinstall the app, or do this. I go to storage, and I clear the cache. That number is going to go to 0 very quickly. And now this number is going to go to 0. That number is now at 0. So now this app is like, it has no data. It's just the app as it was installed. So now when I go back to it, Uber driver. So now this is sign in. I'm not going to sign in. If I signed in, that would take me in and then I set go online, and then the system recognizes that I'm online. So there's a gap between, and it is a tech problem as far as I'm concerned. Now that I know how to fix it, I don't care if they fix it. So if I had the opportunity and I remembered it, I would alert Uber that they have this problem, but I probably will forget. So anyways, listeners, the app, even though it gives you good reason to tell it's in a certain status, again, either walk or bike, or drivers, might have multiple cars. They may have switched cars, and that's anyway, I won't go off track with cars, but walk or bike. And then online, I thought I was online, but the system didn't recognize me as online. I should have reacted quicker, but I was kind of enjoying the slack time. Anyways, that's the other thing I want to do is just show a it's really hard to tell if I was able to get an image of myself, but I was attempting to show my fashion. I do not look like I'm equipped for rain. I do have these rain pants on, but even though these aren't really good rain pants, they're not plasticky. They don't obviously look like rain pants. Now I have them folded up just below my knee, which my theory is everything below the knee really doesn't matter, including my feet. So as long as I can keep my core temperature warm, my feet can be wet and cold all day, and I'm okay. And that proved to work today. And then I have a plastic bag on under this coat. Again, the coat looks wet, and it has gotten wet through to my skin, but only on my arms. So again, that doesn't matter very much. And then I have a plastic bag over a down vest, and that's where my core has stayed very warm. And then, of course, a plastic bag on the helmet. Listeners, if you look at delivery people, they wear plastic bags, and it's not because they can't afford raincoats. Just managing more stuff, like a Gore-Tex coat. Now you got to take it home, you got to clean it every now and then, you got to dry it. A plastic bag you can throw out, a plastic bag you can replace, a plastic bag you can come into your place of destination. It starts raining, you can go buy a plastic bag. Plastic bags are better than Gore-Tex. Now the downside is with an active delivery like a bicycle or someone who's trying to walk at a decent pace, you overheat in a blink with a plastic bag. So again, I've solved that for myself by I don't try to be a hero. I'm not one of these young studs that flies through traffic. I go at a very slow pace. So that's my strategy for making sure I don't overheat. Anyways, listeners, if you listen to anything on this video, please, one more time, just because your app says you're online, you might not be. And just because you've switched vehicles, from my case, from walk to bike, you might not be, and that's for Uber. So it'd just be awesome if I had an audience of people that actually got caught by this, and somehow I was able to give them the answer before they had the problem, and they remembered it and actually executed and it worked. That would be just awesome. So listeners, if nothing else, tuck that away. If your app is telling you something and it seems that the system is telling you differently, then uninstall and reinstall the app, or clear data. It's the same thing. Uninstall, reinstalling the app is more thorough. It's going to fix other problems also. However, there's along with being more thorough is also a bigger commitment of time. This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao from Port Authority Bus Terminal in New York City near the Lincoln Tunnel. Ciao, ciao.